Hi, I'm sitting in front of this window again, so it may at times look like I only have a quarter of a head. As I noticed when I reviewed my vlog yesterday, I was wondering, I have a question. I was wondering if you cross your sevens. I haven't noticed ever if you do. When I was about sixth grade, thereabouts, I started doing it. My father was spending a lot of time in Europe. He had a lot of European friends and business associates, and he started doing it. And at some point, probably past high school, I probably did it all through high school. I'm not sure. Definitely by college. I thought it was really pretentious, so I stopped doing it. And I lost a modicum of respect for my father because I felt he was doing it because he was pretentious. Because he was pretentious. I mean, especially when he was drunk. And it's weird because in some ways he was earthy and like Brooklyn guy and very funny and big bullshit detector and just kind of a little tough. But he also had this like a sophistication that in some ways was real because he did travel a lot. So he wasn't like everyone else on the block, like Joe Plumber and Joe Garbage Man. He had these worldly experiences and unique friends. So, he picked that up and that was part of him. So it was actually a really weird mix. It made him kind of a weird guy. And it really came out when he was drunk, like not drunk home with just me and my mom or just me, where he was getting shit faced watching like baseball. That a different kind of drunk. But if we had guests, entertaining people, then like this pseudo British accent came out, and he was witty. Oh my god. And he would be an asshole to me if there's pictures, there's photos. I'm sure I showed you where he's like, ha ha ha, and actually he looks like he's laughing maniacally, and I'm like, like I have memories. Like I wasn't having fun enough. I wasn't enough of the life of the party at age 7, and I also have memories of kind of getting in trouble at parties like that for not being friendly enough to a guest that I didn't even know, and him turning on like a dime from like Mr. Charm to like in front of guests, like cutting me down, not screaming and yelling at me, but cutting me down with sharp, scathing words. But it's funny, a few minutes ago, before I started this vlog, I had this memory of something where he was like really funny. He could be so funny. Like just really quick witted, and you know what's weird about him? Is this might be this generation and where he grew up, but he was homophobic in a weird way. His accountant, Joe Carr, was gay, and he came over to our house for all the parties. He went to our pool parties, and he was really nice. And my father was jovial with him. They were friends, but he would talk about him behind his back when he wasn't around. Like, he made this weird comment that Joe went AC/DC. Like, I never understood that. I should look it up. Is that like a battery? Like, I mean, I know it is, but because it's saying he's bisexual, like he goes both ways. I don't know. Anyway, he'd make fun of Joe, and he was really mad, and during the AIDS time, and the group ACT UP formed and protested in, I guess it was St. Patrick's Cathedral during Mass. They stormed the church, and they did a lot of very provocative and assertive, loud, big protests around the city. Mainly protesting, I believe, I was a kid, but that Ronald Reagan was not even never acknowledged AIDS publicly, and they were demanding funding for research and acknowledgement. And that's the upside down pink triangle, which was based on the upside down yellow triangle of the Holocaust of Jews. Anyway, I think that's the deal with them and everything. That's what I remember. But he was disgusted and outraged by that. I guess as a Catholic, a Brooklyn Catholic. And he would talk about fags and maybe even say sodomites. He might have said that. So he wasn't like massively homophobic where he wouldn't want to have anything to do with one, but if they acted up, then he wanted them to shut up and sit down. So, oh my god, I don't know if I've told you this. I should put it in short story because there has been a lot of him. I'll just tell you because I can always doctor it up in the story. We were driving in the car to Manhattan. I think he's probably driving me to my sister's when she lived in the commune. That's most likely where he was driving me because it was just me and him. Anyway, out of nowhere, I'm sure I've told you this. I'm sitting in the front seat. He's like, I don't get lesbians. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, what is it with them? He's like, what's their sex life? It's just like mutual masturbation. He's like, what are they getting out of that? I was like, just they pretended it wasn't happening. Like, I don't know. Can you fucking imagine being like a 50-something old man and saying that to like your 14 or 15-year-old daughter? That's shocking. If that's what he's thinking about, keep it in here. Go have a beer and discuss it with some other drunks at the bar. Write a letter to Penthouse or Playboy. Don't talk about it with your daughter. And it's so stupid. Well, it's his problem. Another time, my parents and I went out to this Spanish restaurant on Staten Island. It was Spain Spanish. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the paella, whatever. It had seafood in it. I'm not really that into seafood. Like lots of clams and squid, and I was like forced to eat it. It was like this huge multi-person meal, and I was like, ugh. So I remember just feeling like, ugh. And I think there was a side of yellow rice, and that's mostly what I ate. I was a senior in high school. I was seeing John at the time, which was a secret. So my father's like, I gotta ask you something. I can't do his accent. He's been dead since 1994. I almost can't remember. It's like I can hear it in my head, but I can't. But he's like, it wasn't as like mafia as that. He's like, I gotta ask you something. That's more like it. He's like, what's up with you? And I was like, What are you talking about? And he's like, you, you're 17, you're going on 18 years old. We haven't heard about you dating anyone. You're not dating anyone. And I was like, right, not dating anyone. And he's like, look, I'm going to be blunt. Are you a lesbian? So I was like, no. And he's like, I'm just checking. Because you ain't dating anyone. You ain't dating anyone. And, you're getting close to adulthood. You're 17. You're going on 18. And, okay, first of all, even if there's no John in my life, I went to a girls' school. And I was not popular. So I wouldn't have been invited to the popular parties where I would meet boys from the other Catholic high schools. That's what mostly happened with the girls who were dating boys. It's like there'd be parties where, like I just said, these groups would be mixed up together. I don't even know how. I remember when I was in the swim team, we shared a pool with a boys' Catholic high school, um, but we didn't interact. But maybe popular girls on the team interacted and the parties formed. I don't know. It was like popular girl world. And so, and a lot of girls didn't have a boyfriend because, like, it was hard to come by. Uh, but it's an offensive question, the way he asked it. Of course, the way he asked it. And it was like accusatory. And it's like, I'm going to suss this out. I should have been like, yeah, my girlfriend is in my French class. I was afraid to tell you. You know, when I go over to Marie's house, her parents aren't home. We're lovers, and we're best friends. Is that was he expecting that kind of thing from me? What was he expecting? Me to just be like, yes, I am, or no, I'm 100% straight and just haven't found the right guy yet. This all started with the sevens. And I don't remember if he crossed his zeros or slashed his zeros. He may have said Z for Z. I think he did. This is all intertwined with my musings on Carol Ann. Okay, nothing's going on with Carol Ann, but I had this like fantasy of Jacqueline calling and being like, "What is going on with you two?" Like, she told me that you haven't spoken to her in like 6 weeks, just because she didn't go to your birthday. And I would be like, listen, between February and my birthday, a few things happened that I found really frustrating and aggravating. And I tried to express that to her, and she blew me off. And I also started, and upon that, I started reflecting on years and years of blah, blah, blah. And I told her that I was concerned about a relationship or not comfortable, and she blew that off. And so, really, the ball's in her court. And I could just picture, like, kind of going to that and her being like, not accepting it. Like, she's done so much for you, and how can you hurt her like that? That kind of thing. And then, me just trying to reiterate my position and her just negating it and being like, no, you don't have, you don't treat her like that after all she's done for you, pretty much. You're hurting her. And that's what I picture. Just needed to put the Carolyn thing in there. Gotta go 14:45. Bye.